See, we're live, basically.
Wait, for real?
Yep, we're live.
But we're not supposed to be live for another 10 minutes, right?
It's the 10-minute countdown timer.
And we're going to be on there?
The 10-minute countdown timer is live.
Okay, but I'm not live,
No,
right?
no.
Okay, I just need confirmation of these things.
No, the 10-minute countdown timer is live. No audio right now. Wait.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Where's Lauren? I'm like, where is our other host? Hi. Oh my god.
No choking, no dying.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today here at Crypto Cafe. I'm here with Lauren Kit Carter, our founder. I'm Valerie, responsible for all things product, and we have YourCryptoDJ on with us.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon. Hi, pleasure to be here.
Well, we're really happy to have you. We're going to go ahead and get started and just talk about how did you get into crypto? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you made that move.
Well, first of all, I'm a DJ in real life, hence the name. So basically, all my friends call me DJ, and the name came up because when I started into crypto, it was just, oh, you're not a DJ, you're the DJ that's in crypto. So I was like, okay, that sounds like a fair name to me. And as for crypto in general, I think I started like most people. I heard it years and years and years ago. Oh, this thing, digital money, blah blah blah, and I just thought it was a bunch of nonsense. Years gone by, it comes back in the news. Oh look, Bitcoin is at I don't know what price was at the time, and like most people, I'd FOMO in at a very high price. So lessons learned there. But mainly, I started around 2019, 2020, give or take, with COVID and whatnot. I worked in social media before, well, I still continue to work in social media, but before this, and I had a few friends and they were talking about, oh, look, you know, it's a lot easier. There's a lot of benefits with crypto than to fiat in general. So I started going down that rabbit hole, bored in COVID, and now we're here, basically.
That's amazing. Going from being a DJ, which I know you still are, to getting into crypto, did anyone give you any trouble online because of your background?
Not really, to be honest. I try to keep a low profile in general, as hard as it is sometimes now having a social presence, but not really, to be honest. The typical people thought, oh, um, it's all a scam, it's all a Ponzi, blah blah blah, but they don't know anything in crypto in general. They just see what the headlines show, and they haven't done the due diligence to actually study a bit. When that's just an extremely, extremely small percentage of what crypto can actually offer in real life.
I detect a accent, if I may be so presumptuous. Are you from the UK?
I am indeed. So my mum is French and my dad is English. Well, he was English, and I currently live in Spain, in sunny Spain.
Very cool. What are the vibes in Europe? On the other side of the pond, so to speak, in regards to Web3 and digital assets, cryptocurrency. Well, I'd be very interested to know what the Europeans feel about this.
It depends where you go, in my opinion. I do think that is getting noticed more and more, shall we say. There are definitely some countries that are into it more than others. Like you've got Estonia, for example, you've got Malta, um, Portugal as well. Those are definitely countries that are quite into crypto in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, even
And
the Prime Minister of UK announced working on the digital UK pound. They're moving towards going to a digital pound, which I thought was very interesting.
true, and I might be mistaken by saying this, but I do believe that they were thinking of doing like the digital European CBDC, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but yeah, I think so. So yeah, it's definitely like most of the world is getting on the more and more mainstream, shall we say, which is obviously a good sign. It's
Yeah,
positive.
mass adoption is the only way forward,
Exactly.
which
Mm-hmm.
includes, institutional investors, but also regulations. Like we all got here because it was a decentralized, currency, but we all understand the need for regulations for mass adoption. There has to be accountability. There has to be safety within this new system.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And it's like everything in life, it takes time to actually settle down and everything get up and ready properly. So yeah, it will take some time, but slowly but surely, as they say.
For sure.
For those who don't really know you that have joined us on live today, how would you describe some of your social media posts, or what could they find on your social media if they went to different pages?
Um, Currently more crypto memes. Like I'm a DJ myself. I can't deny that. So yeah, definitely a lot of crypto posts, of course, and a lot of low, small small market caps generally. I do talk about bigger names, but a lot of people they do like their airdrops. They do like the small, high risk, high reward kind of games. So yeah, that's definitely it. Into 2024, sorry. My main goal is on Instagram and YouTube specifically to try to instead of focus down on the people that love the small market caps, to just generalize a bit more and teach a bit in general for all the new people that most likely going to come if the bull one comes this year. Hopefully it does, of course. And just the things that most of us that have been in crypto for a while will be like, oh, well, that's completely obvious. Everyone should know that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know the basic stuff or even the basic terms like, what is SAFU or NFA or hold or HODL, sorry. And they'll be like, what is he talking about? So just stuff like that. So even what is the Bitcoin white paper? For most people, it'll be like, duh, everyone knows that. But I asked my grandfather that, and he'll be, well, what is Bitcoin, first of all? So yeah, definitely that is my focus for this year, and hopefully play some shows, um, as well around the world.
So you're very into like trading on the DEX and swaps like Pancake Swap, Uniswap, joining Telegram groups when a coin is getting about ready to launch and, pumping a coin, getting in early, so to speak, like the wild wild west of crypto still.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
love
rem- I
the
remember
hype
those.
when you go
I
in.
remember those days fondly because I got into SHIB like really early. A bunch of other coins that are not even around anymore, but those were really fun, crazy days. But also, you win some, you lose some. Super high
Oh, for
risk.
sure.
Uh, yeah, but very lucrative if done correctly. Um, it's also really complicated to trade in that space because you have to know about MetaMask wallets or a trust wallet or how to even get money into a Ethereum or some other sort of middleman currency that you can get onto the DEX, and then finding which groups have the new hot tools listing, new pairs listing, which coins have the liquidity locked up, which ones could be rug pulls. Like it's a whole nother world of crypto.
And for those that are
Oh, for
watching and
sure.
don't know what any of this is, the DEX is a decentralized exchange. So essentially, what it means is if you go to Coinbase and you see a coin on there that it says is not listed on Coinbase to trade, it means you're going outside of that to a decentralized exchange, which means you can't use fiat currency usually. So you have to put your money into Ethereum in a centralized exchange usually, and then move it to a decentralized exchange, and then buy the other cryptocurrencies in that decentralized exchange using your Ethereum or whatever it is that you're using.
For example, at the early phases of my DJing life, shall we say, I did once done a very stupid mistake of sending Ethereum on the BSC chain, and I was scratching my head saying, "Where the hell did the money go?" But yeah, you always learn stuff along the way, so I completely agree. It's high risk, high reward if you do it right. I'm not gonna lie, I've been bugged
Oh yeah.
a few times. I'm not gonna lie. There's been honeypots, rug pulls, scams, liquidity disappearing. God knows how, God knows when. So yeah, but that's part of the game.
I aped a coin called Somi live when BitBoy was live streaming this launch of the coin, and I aped into Somi, and then we all watched as Somi just crashed in front of us. And those are like some of the learning curves of trading on that kind of platform. You win some, you lose some, and some projects which you think are great get swatted and get botted, which is a whole nother thing. It's very interesting talking to developers that I know now. They're creating new AI bots for all of these, upcoming coins and coin launches on the DEX. The bots are getting extremely good. Where I don't even know if we'll be able to compete with those in the future of getting in on coin launches unless you're an ICO.
True. There's bots like you mentioned, like you were saying about bots, sorry. I know there's one called Banana Bot, which is doing extremely well, for
Banana
example.
Gun.
Yeah, it's getting on my timeline more and more. So it's like I need to start learning because, like you said, it's like everything with AI. It'll be at a time where we'll be like, oh damn, we just can't keep up with these bloody machines.
No,
as a
and
positive way.
none of us here are recommending anyone should trade in these platforms. This is just our gory war stories because
True.
like if you don't know anything about blockchain, you shouldn't play in this sandbox. This is like super complicated, hard, easy to lose all your money.
Yeah, it's definitely the highest risk.
It's the highest risk. It is.
Yeah,
it is everything scammy and probably wrong with crypto. That's what we're talking about.
It's basically gambling, but it can be a little bit fun for
Sometimes
those willing
you can
to
win.
lose it all.
Normally it's fun for 30 seconds until you see the big red chart and it's like, oh shit. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Non-financial advice, of course, to everyone listening and watching.
For your blue chips, like what blue chips? Because I often get this question asked. Okay, well, what like crypto is solid? What's stable? What NFA? Not a financial advisor, but there are some blue chip cryptocurrencies that we invest in, that we believe in. I'm curious to know what you think what are your blue chip type of cryptocurrencies or digital assets on the market available today?
I, of course, non-financial advice, but I tend to have a decent percentage in the main three, in my eyes, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance token, of course. And after I get into the top 10, 20, which are, Cardano, Matic, all the layer twos in general. And after I have a small percentage we were commenting about before, all the degen plays, that's the small 10, 20%, where it's like, of course, you only put in what you can afford to lose. So that 20% tends to be the fun and game, shall we say. But yeah, mostly there's nothing new. It's just like this playing with in my opinion, the safe ones, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Binance, etc.
Yeah. How do you feel about XRP?
A bit neutral. I don't love it. Don't hate it. I got some just in case, but yeah, I do think not to avoid the topic, sorry, but I do think Solana's gonna do quite well. It's popping on my timeline more and more and more. So I think that's gonna be, in my opinion, a potential play for 2024.
For sure. Solana has a great community and a great machine behind it. And we actually had a conversation with CZ of Binance about Solana, and it was an open forum, public question, and he was asked about what he felt about Solana, and he said it has a great community, it has a great, powerful machines behind it. He just was holding out to wait and see if their tech and their utilities are able to produce, that they're able to do everything that they are claiming to be able to do. And I think that's with most of these altcoins is Cardano network gonna, push through and do everything it's setting out to do? Is, Ripple gonna, we're waiting to see if all these utilities and these coin uses are gonna happen. Like if they're gonna stay and maintain.
Yeah, and I saw. Oh, I was just going to say, I saw a comment on the live that said just in case. And I don't know if they mean like, what do you mean by that? I feel like everybody holds a little bit of everything that's talked about just in case it's like the next big thing. You don't miss out.
Yeah. And I can't stress this enough because a lot of people don't know this. You don't have to buy, let's say you want to buy Bitcoin, but you're like, oh, I can't buy a Bitcoin. It's, what is it today? 36,000. I don't know. You don't have to buy an entire coin. You can buy $10 worth. You can buy $5 worth. You can buy increments of any coin that you want that is above, like let's say Ethereum too. It's very expensive. These other coins that we're talking about, like ADA, Cardano, XRP, Solana, Matic, they're all much lower price range. Some are not even $1. So those are much more easily, investable because let's say you're just going to skip out on a coffee for the day. So you'll invest in, let's say Cardano, put in $5 and see what happens type of thing.
I have a few that are like so far-fetched that I threw like $10 in just to see what it does. And then I'm like, if it really did do something, I'd be so mad.
Had you put $10 into
like
Pepe,
now.
You'd have had a bunch of money. You don't know.
It's annoying.
I was going to ask, actually, what are your takes? What coins do you, of course, non-financial advice, what coins do you ladies hold?
My coins, I mainly hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, ADA, since it's like inception. A lot of these I got in super early. I've been trading in crypto since 2015.
Oh wow!
And so so my top ones: Bitcoin, Ethereum, blue chip, gold standard. You got it. I also for like stable coins, I like USDC and Tether. Then I would have Binance Chain, BSC, Binance Chain, Matic, Solana a little bit. Not like I'm on the fence about Solana. Like it could hit or miss. I really like, what else? I mean, there's some like little. I like AMP token. It's a far-reaching coin, but I like AMP and I like the Flex network that it runs on. So those would be my top ones.
I remembered you said that you post about like some of these wild meme coins. How do you decide which coins or tokens you want to post about? Like, how do you end up when you're posting on social media? I'm always so nervous to talk about anything. How do you decide what you post about? Because I know people can be so iffy about how responsible you are for it. You know what I mean?
I don't have like a set, like it needs to have this, that, and that. But I do look at some stuff. Like if the team is doxed, for example, if they have a website, which sounds completely stupid, but you will be surprised how many have got absolutely nothing. It's like, well, why do you want me to post this? There's nothing to show anyways. So yes, if the team is doxed, if they have a website, if they have a white paper or roadmap, in fact, and what kind of utilities they bring to the table, to be honest, because no disrespect to any token out there, but I do get a decent amount of DMs every day, and some promise me the moon. Literally, they're like, "Oh, this is gonna do this, that, and that." But it's like, yeah, okay, but why should it do that? Like, what are you bringing to the table? And yeah, that's my go-to. For example, speaking.
Oh, okay, I knew it. Okay, so do you have a new link? Did you post it in the Telegram so he can join?
I thought we upgraded.
I need to upgrade yours.
I gave him my credit card. I thought that we did that.
No, you have to do. We don't have a business account, so we've just been doing.
Sorry.
It's us, not you.
Are we live still?
Yes.
Okay, we apologize. We had an interruption momentarily, but we're back.
I was gonna comment about some altcoins that I do personally like, non-financial advice, of course. Some like ChainGPT. which is like the ChatGPT but crypto version. I've worked with them before. I quite like the idea they have. Dex tools, in a sense, the actual charts, they have their own token, which is, I find it quite cool because everyone I know knows what Dex tools is, for example. What else?
Yeah, I hold Dex as well because you also get preferred trading fees for holding. Like if you hold a certain amount in your account, there's certain fees that are waived, and it is helpful.
For sure, those are smaller. They're like not the complete Wild Wild West. They're upper tier of the Wild Wild West, shall we say? So yeah, they're still obviously high risk, but they tend to be a bit safer, in my opinion. So going back, sorry, to your question about what should I post, that's what I tend to look at. See if they actually got something, first of all, which sounds completely stupid, but I've seen lots of stuff in this world. So the pure basics.
Do you still trust audits? Like when a coin is getting, an audit?
It depends which audit, because there's definitely some websites and some names I'm not going to comment. But yeah, it's preferable, of course. The more information and the more transparent and public and honest of what their goal is, the better, to be honest. If they're going to say, well, I'm just here to grab my bag, and say, well, thank you for being honest, but I'm not going to, not going to share this to my audience, of course.
What do you guys mean by audits for our audience?
So like there's a company called Certic, is one of the more well-known ones, where let's say I've put out a white paper and I'm launching a coin, and this white paper has a roadmap of, this is what I plan to do with this coin. These are the tokenomics, meaning here's how many we've created. Here's how many we're putting out in the public. Here's how many team members own of this coin. Here's liquidity that we're providing. Are we locking up that liquidity? Did we really do all these things? A company like Certic will come in and actually audit all of that and then say whether or not we really did all those things. Because anyone can say, let's say like Couchcoin. I just created Couchcoin, and Couchcoin has a locked liquidity of $1 million. I'm gonna only put out 10% of 1 million tokens. Like I can say all of this and make a roadmap and a white paper and have a website and launch it on a DEX, and it could all not be true.
How do they verify that stuff? Do you know?
They go through and they see, they go through the wallet address, what's locked in liquidity in like a wallet, how many wallets have been given out with certain team tokens.
So this is the same as it's basically down to the concept of blockchain, where everything is transparent but anonymous. So you can't see people's names tied to wallets, but you know exactly which wallets hold what.
Mm-hmm. And then some people do provide more information, like, oh, this token is owned by this LLC, which this LLC is owned by this person. It was launched in India, whatever. They're just basically confirming everything you're saying about the coin is true.
Okay.
But that doesn't even guarantee that it is not a rug pull, because it is expensive to get audits. So the team would be paying between $30,000 and $50,000. So you tend to take them more seriously because they have paid this amount of money.
It's basically whoever's created the token in some way, shape, or form that's requesting the audit to make sure it's like verifying themselves.
So now you can say, hey, we're Certic. We've been, we got this score from Certic.
Awesome.
There's also too, like on Dex tools, it gives a score, or CoinGecko, or different platforms also give a coin a score of what they believe the integrity of the coin is. Like, is it a 99 or is it a 1? There are different parameters that will get you a better score for a coin. So you got to look at all of that. You got to look and see if in the Telegram group, if people are like rug pull, or if their website doesn't exist, or if the liquidity is not locked. Like you have to watch on the Etherscan of whether or not people are pulling. Like, it is a lot. Like there's so much that goes into
when
this.
you're gonna gamble on meme coins, you gotta calculate that risk.
That's true. But the good thing about the blockchain is that in theory the blockchain never lies. So if they have done an audit, they could track who did what, when, why, and like you commented, it doesn't guarantee. There's no guarantees, of course, but it does give some sort of reassurance for sure to some people at least.
Yeah, and to like what you're saying, it's just so important to stay on top of what you're doing and checking everything, making sure that you're comfortable with whatever you put in, you're willing to lose, because that could very well happen.
Have you ever traded the stock market? And I'm only asking because I'm just wondering how you feel like trading stocks compares to crypto.
I have not, unfortunately, no. I have looked a little bit, but I'm not the best of traders, first of all. And second of all, in stock, I haven't traded, to be honest. I've always been interested in, but it's the absolute pure basics, like the S&P 500, for example, or some of the big names like PayPal or Microsoft or Nvidia. But I haven't done that jump just yet.
What
I
I
don't know.
guess what made, because I feel like for a lot of people this is the opposite. What made trading crypto come sort of before the stock market to you? I guess what makes you hesitate about the stock market but feel better with crypto?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's going to sound very naive or cliche, but I guess I'm I'm younger than like your typical 30, 40 years old, shall we say? So it's like, oh, crypto was a cool thing. So it's like, oh, let's jump on the bandwagon on the cool stuff, and like, you do the old stocks and I do the crypto kind of thing. In my eyes, at least.
No, I love it.
No, for sure.
But yeah,
And it's also anonymous. Like if you screw up, no one's gonna know but you.
that's true, yeah. But
Like
I've
I could
never
be
had.
secretly trading in bed at night, in the morning, like on Telegram, finding new launches, and no one's gonna know the mistakes I made. But if I like have to go online and set up an account and talk to a stockbroker, and like, there's just so much more work to me.
That's another thing I do like about crypto, for example. There's no need of a middleman in most scenarios. For example, people say, let's say I want to send you, I don't know, 100K. Okay, I'll go to the bank and say, hey, I want to send this person 100K. They'll be, okay, great. Why? What do you mean, why? It's my money. Well, you have to tell me why you want to send this. Okay, even if you do all of that with your money, they'll say, okay, it's going to take you 24, 48, 72 hours. But it's like, well, no, I want to send it now because of whatever reason. And after, you have to pay whatever fee it is. Within crypto, it's like, I want to send you 100K. Fine, done. In, I don't know how long, depends whatever you want to pay in. But in top whack an hour, you got the money straight away. And the fees tend to be a lot lower. And that's the general concept in my eyes. But there's definitely a lot of utilities, like in a lot of third world countries, where unfortunately they do have different ideologies. For example, with women having a bank account, or even having a bank account in general, where with crypto, if you have a mobile phone, a Wi-Fi connection or internet connection, you have the accessibility to own a crypto wallet, for example, which potentially in some of those countries, unfortunately, they will say no for you to having a bank account.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
For example, at least. Or a lot of people, like in some countries, like Argentina with their currency, or some other countries with their currencies, it fluctuates a lot more, even though if the mainstream media says, oh, Bitcoin's gone up 30% or it's gone down 30%. Okay, great. But the Argentinian currency went down, I don't know how many percent in not so long. So for some people, it's even safer.
Yeah. Look at the Canadians. Their bank accounts were being seized. And that's not a third world country. That's a thriving economy and a thriving country. And like your keys, your wallet. If I'm already being taxed on the money that I'm putting into, let's say, my Coinbase account. Then I take that money and I put it into a digital or a decentralized wallet in some currency. Well, now I'm going to pay you for something. Normally there would be another fee. Then I would be asked, why am I sending it? Then there would be time spent. Then there would be, you getting it, then you're taxed on it. It's just like, it's just a tax, a fee, a tax, a fee, but you've already been taxed and you've already paid a fee and it is your money. But the more that it is centralized, which is again too why central banking is also trying to get away from cash. There's no transactional fees with cash. They're like, oh, we're missing out on trillions of dollars because we're not getting transaction fees on cash, which is why I think it is inevitable that we will be going to digital currency, because then they can continue to put on transactional fees and processing fees. That's where they make a huge amount of money.
And in my opinion, it's the fact that they could track what you do with your money. It's like, no, you can't spend that money today on whatever it is, which is another thing, like you said, not your keys, not your wallet. No, not your, oh, bloody hell, sorry. Not your keys, not your coins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just, like you said, freedom of speech as well. Potentially you say something online, they find out who you are, and they say, okay, bye bank account. And it's like, well, why? What? When? Can't we have, our own right to actually think and speak freely of what we want to say? Which, thankfully, with crypto, for example, there isn't that problem, for example, at least.
Mm-hmm. I can completely relate to that. I'm being audited for a specific year because I have a crypto company, a platform, and I'm very vocal about crypto. So they just want to know what I did traded in just this 1 year alone, and it's because of talking openly about cryptocurrency. And I pay, of course, I pay your taxes, pay your taxes, pay your taxes. But it's just very interesting that they only want to know about this 1 year, and it's because you take a risk when you're open about cryptocurrency and investing in these digital assets and participating on these platforms. They are watching.
And I completely agree with that. Fortunately or unfortunately, depends how you look at it, of course. We are definitely going to a digital era. At the end of the day, less and less people watch cable TV. So it's going on decline. It's mostly people, for example, my grandparents, which, it's sad to say, but we are unfortunately all going to die sooner or later. So those older generations are going to fade away slowly but surely, like all of us will as well. And it'll be completely digital. And after, what will be next after digital? That's the main question, because everything we do on our phones, realistically, these days, either it's ordering food or sending money or a potential buy of something or a connection of a contact or a phone call or a message, or everything is completely digital these days. I can't remember the last time I read a newspaper or sent, for example, a post letter. So yeah, sooner or later it's going to be completely digitalized and cash will unfortunately disappear.
Yeah. That's it, for sure is heading that way. Since you're in the music industry, how do you feel about NFTs? And do you think that I can say for me, I think NFTs are not gone. I think NFTs will come back strong once they have better utilities and better management. How do you feel about NFTs, especially in your industry?
I quite like NFTs, to be honest. I completely agree that NFTs aren't gone, and they will be back. It's not everything. Like crypto at the very early stages, it was like extreme hype for some stuff and it disappeared. And I believe that NFTs were more like the artistic and visual first kind of era, and now it's coming with more and more utilities. For example, my username on Telegram is an actual NFT, for example, just as like a utility. And as for music and NFT, it's like we were talking about before, there's no middleman. I do find a lot of cool utilities. For example, there's a DJ called, his name is 3LAU, so it's Blau, I think it's pronounced. And his company is called Royal, I think. And for example, you can potentially own a small percentage of that song, which means whatever royalties that makes, imagine if there's 100%, and there's 100 different options to buy 1% each. If you buy that 1%, you get 1% of royalties in perpetuity of whatever that makes on any social media, which is quite cool because it gives a very, very close connection to the person that's actually investing in you. Well, not investing, but actually supporting your vision, where there's no need of like the old days where MTV was like, I'm going to choose who I'm going to put on MTV and why I'm going to put it on MTV. Now today, the internet is the open market, so you get to choose who you support and how you want to support that person.
Yeah.
Which makes it a lot easier for smaller artists with the long tail.
Yeah, and it's more beneficial for the artist and the fan as well, because let's say he's putting out a new album and he's going to sell 10,000 collection. Well, you have 10,000 people invested in that album. You help pay to create the album, and you also get dividends back from the success of that album. So you're also fan engagement. Plus, you're more incentivized to go out and promote that album for said artist. It just creates this whole ecosystem and this whole community, which is what we were talking about before with meme coins. This is an actual utility and an actual community that can actually do something, as opposed to just supporting Pepe or just supporting SHIB or just supporting Dogecoin. You know what I mean? I wholeheartedly believe that NFTs are gonna. It's the tech around NFTs and the amount of control an artist has to their community, what they drop, creating a phygital world where you combine the digital and physical world. So let's say you did buy an NFT and you got, the one of one, and that came with a physical drop of, you get to meet the artist, you get to have signed merch, you get, all these crazy things that go along with it. I think that NFTs are really special in that sense, and collector's items
for
at
sure.
the same time.
I saw a while back with all the YouTube fights, for example, and there was Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, I think it was, in Los Angeles, and they were talking about the fact that obviously the tickets were physical, and the security was saying once you go in, you can go out, but you're not allowed to go back in again. And they'll complain, why is that? And it's the fact that they couldn't control where you were seated and how you're seated, etc. And if you did have an actual NFT, they could verify where you were supposed to be seated, because they didn't know if that actual ticket was a legitimate ticket or if it was like a fake paper, for example. Yeah. So which is another utility.
It's a way of authenticating. It's a way of authentication. And I think in the future, what you're talking about is going to be for everything. Like, imagine authenticating secondhand watches, authenticating wine. That's a huge thing in the wine industry. Like, am I really buying a fancy, very old wine that is this brand? Probably 50% of the time, not. Not 100% sure if what you're getting is authentic. There's so many, like, secondhand bags, just so much stuff that can be authenticated on the blockchain.
What do you think it'll take for NFTs to kind of, I feel like they were sort of a big popular thing to talk about, and now they've sort of died down a little bit. What do you think it'll take for them to surge again in the community as far as discussion, or I guess what's lacking, or what is it that's missing to keep them, front and center focused because of all the benefits that they bring? Like with crypto, we're missing some education, which is why we have the platform.
I think initially the drop in NFT sentiment was because of what happened at OpenSea. Again, I say this all the time, like all the scams like FTX, OpenSea, different exchanges that are no longer around. It's not the tech. It's not blockchain. It's human error. It's human. Yeah. It's caused by human interaction. It's caused by naughty people doing naughty things, and not the blockchain. So while blockchain technology is solid, and if you have a solid NFT with a solid community, it'll be successful. But there are always bad players in every industry, and unfortunately, I think that's what brought down a lot of sentiment in crypto and in NFTs.
Yeah.
So
I
more
completely agree.
accountability and more transparency, like
Better usability.
yeah,
it
like you
sounds
had
like.
people buying
Reduced from
crypto
human error.
punks, but they were just buying it from themselves, rising the prices, and you had insider trading on OpenSea, again, human error. So there needs to be accountability. There does need to be some sort of regulation so that people feel safe in investing in these types of assets.
And I think in general, just utilities. As like, for example, I own Tomorrowland NFTs. So I don't know if anyone knows what Tomorrowland is, but it's a really big festival in Belgium. And they release their own NFTs, which means you can actually buy tickets to the festival before the general public sell. And there's actual perks like there was a raffle of visiting the festival before it was actually open to the general public. Or there was a restaurant raffle as well. So it's some utilities, for some it'll be cool, some it's not. But it's many utilities that people could use in a general mainstream view, basically.
Yeah,
For
like
example,
Coachella should be selling their tickets as NFTs.
For example, yeah. And I think Gary V, he sells VCon NFTs, or he's got his V friends, I think. And you can buy a
Vcoin.
specific NFT, and you can have tickets to every year in perpetuity until he runs out and stops doing it, of course. But you can buy NFTs to actually attend year in, year out, for example. So it's just utilities that you can include into crypto that are used in your day-to-day, basically.
And authenticated on blockchain. Like if it's in your wallet, you own that NFT. It was bought from this source. There's no counterfeiting that. There's no way
True.
of counterfeiting those sold items. Plus, a lot of people don't understand the NFT market is a huge secondary, third. You can resell these NFTs, and if you were the original owner, you're continuing to get kickbacks from that in perpetuity, like forever. That's how an NFT works.
I completely agree. Yeah, and the blockchain never lies. So
Yeah.
So yeah, everything is registered and everything is public, and it could be seen by anyone, anywhere, anytime.
What are some of your favorite NFT projects?
I bought not too long ago a couple of pudgy penguins. I do like Luke Belmar, which is a content creator, and I FOMO'd in potentially, so NFA, of course. But I checked and I didn't like the idea behind it, so I did definitely ape in. I've got a few of the Tomorrowland NFTs. I'm a DJ and electronic dance music I do like quite a lot, so I definitely have some of them. What else do I have? I did buy a couple in the huge hype of NFTs, shall we say, a couple of football ones. I bought one that Justin Bieber had that sank down quite a lot in price, but it is what it is. So yeah, definitely, I really like the Tomorrowlands and the Pudgy Penguins. That's one I've been looking into recently, to be honest.
How do you feel about like ApeCoin and Bored Ape Yacht Club? That whole ecosystem.
I can't say too much of what I want to say just yet, but I am talking to some people, and they do have the Ape Rave Club. For example, they have their own metaverse, and yes, I do like the idea of the more party phase, shall I say, and all the in real life events that they do have throughout the year. Like they
creating
have
that digital world.
For sure, yeah. Like they have their own metaverse, and I do love the fact that within the community, people that do own Bored Apes have done their own stuff with the Bored Ape. Like there's in the US, there's a guy that owns Bored Ape and he puts it on his burgers because he's opened a burger shop.
Yeah.
Or there's a beer of someone that owns an NFT and it's got like the mutant ape that he has on it, and the beer's green. Or so many others, like there's artists, there's musicians, there's restaurants, etc., etc. So I do
Yeah.
like it. I don't know what you ladies think about it.
You know, I think it's a great concept and a good ecosystem. I like the concept of ApeCoin and staking. I just think that their community, those artists that you're speaking of, need to do more to engage and to build the brand of Bored Apes. Because what a lot of people don't understand, cryptocurrency first and foremost is a community. It started as a community for Bitcoin. Then you know what I mean, and then it just spread like there. Without community, there is no crypto. And I mean, community is mass adoption.
For sure, for sure. Especially for the people that do have eyeballs upon them, they could do
Yeah.
a bit more about what they're doing definitely now to make there's awareness of Bored Apes. Yeah.
I mean, look at what the community did for Dogecoin. They got it listed on real exchanges. It was it serves no purpose. It has no utility. It does nothing. Even the developer gave it over to the community. It just has perceived value by the community, and that's all currency is. That's all fiat is a perceived value from the community.
I think it was just cute enough to get people's attention.
But
I saw that baby Doge, and I'm like,
it's also just like rebellion. Like everyone said, it doesn't do anything. It's not worth anything. And the community was like, oh, we're going to make it worth something.
You want to see?
Yeah. Like they made that
for
coin
sure.
happen.
Yeah. Well, it's like Pepe this year. Well, sorry, last year. That came out of absolutely nowhere. It's like I was on TikTok board one day and I keep seeing this guy, oh, if you did put in, like you were saying at the beginning, if you did put in $20 or $30 in Pepe, you would be a millionaire by now. And people be like, a millionaire with $20?
It's
no
true.
way. So
It can happen.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Yeah, but that's the 0.0000001.
We call that the unicorn. It is a unicorn of crypto picks, and you have to you probably know the developers on that team or very close to somebody to have gotten in at that level.
Or just it's like buying lotto tickets. Like somehow you stumbled upon the right thing at the right time.
You stumbled on the right Telegram group. You stumbled in the right Reddit forum. You're on StockTwits and you're like, what's Pepe? And you happen to end up there and you're like, oh, I'll just throw $10 at it. Like it's a crapshoot.
This is why I throw those random $5 and $10 into coins I've never heard of that I'm like, I think that has no potential. And I just throw it in anyway because I'm like, oh, that name's catchy. Like, you never know.
Yeah, I know.
And the fact that you come back 6 months, 12 months, 18 months later, and it's like, oh, damn, I didn't even know I had this, and it's like, oh, it's gone up. Whatever's gone up.
I just looked at a wallet I have and I still have SHIB Bone. I have Leash. I was like, what? And I forgot I staked it all in Shiba Swap. I'm like, is this even doing anything anymore? But the SHIB community is strong. They believe very, very much in that coin.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I do have very close friends that have invested in SHIB and they're die-hard fans for sure. I can definitely guarantee you that, yeah. Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's community driven. And that's Cardano's that way too. ADA, XRP, they're very, very invested communities that keep it going, that stake their coins for the network and provide the support that the coin needs to stick around.
What do you think about the metaverse, for example? What are your opinions on that?
I love it. I think that there is a place for it, especially for people who we were talking about earlier. Not like some women can't have bank accounts, or they can't travel, or let's say you're unable to travel for financial reasons. You live in a part of the world that that's just not an option. I think that for VR and for going into the metaverse and experiencing things that you would otherwise not be able to is very valuable. I think for real estate, metaverse would be extremely valuable because I can go walk through a house in the metaverse and see the house before I actually put an offer on it or even visit it. I think there are experiences that you can have in an alternate reality like VR in the metaverse. Let's say you've always wanted to go to the Louvre or you've always wanted to go to the Sistine Chapel, but you can't go. So someone creates a space for that in metaverse and you can go and experience it. I think for that reason, it is very, I think it will be successful in the future, but people have to know how to do it. It's complicated and not many people know about it. So again, education is key to teach people about these platforms that exist.
Nice. I agree, to be honest, with what you're saying. I think it's definitely got a role in a society, of course. And like you said, for people that have difficulties to attend, let's say, a concert, for example, or even that concert is a very specific area which many people can't access. It's the potentiality of you attending without being there physically. And for real estate, I completely agree. I do have family that does real estate. And one of the key factors is the fact that if the client that wants to buy the house, if they can imagine themselves within that house, it is a huge factor within they say yes or no. So the fact that you can not be, let's say you want to buy something in Dubai and you're in New York, and obviously you can't travel the 16 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is to get there and back. It's the fact that you'll be, okay, I'll see you in 5 minutes in however they do it, I don't know yet. But the fact that you can actually visit it, like, okay, I do like it, I don't like it, I can imagine myself here, oh, this is a nice bedroom for me where I can sleep, or, these are nice views, etc. So I do believe that it has a role, not now, like you said, there's not many people. Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then you combine that with the NFTs, so then you're buying your home as an NFT. So your NFT is your digital deed for the physical home that you're buying. And it exists in the metaverse and it exists in real life, creating that digital world. Again, too, you're knocking out a middleman. Why do you need a realtor? Why do you need a brokerage firm? Why do you need titles? You need titles, but your title, your deed, I don't know what you call it in the UK or Spain, but that is your NFT. It's authenticated on the blockchain. All your contracts, everything is already written in that code, in that set of information, blockchain of information. I think that's going to be the future of those types of transactions because, you don't know who owned the house at the beginning, but because you bought it from this wallet, but now you've gotten the NFT, which is also has a physical home attached to it. And there's a way of being transparent, but also cutting out the middleman and authenticating that what you're buying is what you're getting.
I also think just right now, maybe it doesn't meet all of the needs that we can see in the future with the metaverse. But even when I think about like planning my honeymoon with Vasile, I think about how easy it would be to go in and tour the Louvre or tour, wherever you're trying to go, seeing things ahead of time. It's part of the research. It's like, it's just
like Mount Everest.
Modeling that's amazing.
You guys kind of want to climb Mount Everest, but are you going to be in the metaverse standing in line?
I think we're
like
gonna
waiting to go. I mean, I always wanted to, but I'm never going to. So I'd like to do it in the metaverse. That would be for sure something I would do.
Yeah, there would actually be some things like that where I'd be like, I'm interested in researching this, understanding it more, and kind of experiencing it, but I really don't want to die, so I'm cool with doing this on my couch.
Swimming with great white sharks. I'll do it in the metaverse.
Yeah, and I don't want to die because I was waiting in line. Like if you're testing my physical fitness and my ability to endure elements, that's one thing. But like, if the person in front of me is sucking and they're just slow, and then now I have to die because of it because I'm getting worn out, I'm like, no, metaverse, metaverse
for sure. For sure.
I completely agree. And like you said about if you want to travel somewhere and you don't know where to travel, I mean, Street View is really good by Google, but it doesn't give you that complete itch of how is the Louvre or how is, I don't know, New York or how is Puerto Rico or how is South Africa. And you could be like, okay, I'm going to have a look and see if I like the vibes of the city or the country to see if I want to choose where I want to go. Like in your case, the honeymoon or holidays or to live even, for example.
Or I'm an avid golfer and I want to play St. Andrews. Well, what if St. Andrews existed in the metaverse and I could go there?
Get an idea of it first.
And I could play the course in the metaverse. and
That would be cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Assess those grades and slopes ahead of time just to
yeah.
outdo everybody.
That's
No, I
true as well.
definitely think
Yeah,
it's
you
a
can
good
prepare in
planning tool.
advance. Yeah.
For
And when
sure.
they ask you, oh, have you ever golfed before? And it's like, no, I never golfed before. But in reality, you've been a week preparing in the metaverse to make sure your golf game is spot on,
I'll say
for
I
example.
cannot count the number of times that I've been mad at my husband Vasil because we've gone to areas and he picks this boulder that's out in the middle of nowhere to climb, and we spend like 16 hours looking for this thing, and then we find it like eventually, and he's like, okay, now it's too late, so we'll come back tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that was
How did he know about the
miserable.
boulder in the first place?
Guidebooks, but like
Oh.
you're hiking out to these things sometimes through like questionable areas. Like he never picks the populated areas that are easy to navigate. He always picks like the random boulders out there that like if he falls, he's gonna die because I can't carry him out of there. And so I feel like if bouldering got into the metaverse and I could navigate the areas there and plan out my trip, that would be amazing, because streets I feel like are one thing, you kind of get
There's
lost,
Google
but like
Maps. There's
nature
no
is
Google Maps. Of
such
your,
an
of
I'm
your-
like,
yeah.
please give me some nature in the metaverse. I will find these boulders, I will map out our experience, and then I'll like get there and we can actually climb, not just like fall around through cactus and bushwhack. And you know what, I'm like carrying the dog, I'm like, I'm sorry we did this to you, like.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a
What are
metaverse fan.
your, oh, sorry. I was going to ask, what are your opinions for 2024? Do you think there's a bull run coming? Is it going to be a red year? What are your takes for this year, for example?
I mean, I'm no fortune teller in an NFA, but from what I do know from being in almost 3 cycles of Bitcoin, it is cyclical. It happens every 4 years with the halving. It affects the prices in cryptocurrency, and we do know that that's coming forth in 2024 in April. So I think with that coming, as well as ETFs being granted in the United States, and huge companies like BlackRock and Vanguard, and having money set aside to invest in Bitcoin gives me positive hope that we're heading towards probably the biggest bull market we've ever seen. Now, having said that, there are a lot of way more brilliant people in the world also thinking the same thing, also thinking, well, how can we manipulate this or capitalize this? I do feel that the market's going to be suppressed before this happens. There's going to be another big dump because people want to come in, institutional money wants to come in low. They don't want to come in high. So I do think we're going to see some more blood in the water before the big push to a new bull market. And I think that it's a good thing too, because then everyone else can come in low as well.
I will not voice my opinion because I bought crypto in 2017 at an all-time high. So I held on to it and I sold later once it spiked up again during the pandemic. But I will just say I'm always buying it when I see it low now. I haven't had any losses.
Always buy in the red.
I held it for that whole time. I held it. Even though it was like, it hit a point where I was like, is it even worth anything? But I'm just going to leave it because I believe in it. But I'd be interested in seeing what you think, especially when you're playing with these fun meme coins, because those will definitely be a lot of fun during a bull run.
Oh, well, some of them will. A lot of them might not, but yeah. Hopefully all of them, of course, but none of financial advice. Knowing, being a bit more realistic, probably a lot of them won't. But I completely agree. I do think that, like you were saying before, if institutions want to come and play, why should they pay 40K if they can buy it at 35 or 33, just to say an example number? And as for the cycle, I'm not as OG as you two ladies are. I've only had one and a half bull cycles, I guess. So I do hope, and I do think that we will have a nice bull, especially at the end of the year. That's my point of view. And yeah, I do hope some of the smaller, riskier but are risks that I do want to take, but I can afford losing. For example, I want to say that first and foremost. And hopefully they do well. But I do have some safe options, like we said before, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. For example, next week, I think, or in a few days on Solana, they're having the Jupiter launch, for example. I'm going to have a look in that. Non-financial advice, of course, but there's a lot of hype with that, and that's something I'm definitely interested in. And there's plenty other smaller coins that I do. Like you said, have like your $10, your $20, and see how it goes at the end of the year.
Yeah. And my strategy for when this happens is take gains. That's the biggest mistake I made in 2021 is I didn't take enough gains. I mean, when Cardano was almost $3, I should have freaking sold, but I didn't. I held on too long. So always remember when like buy the rumors, sell the news. That's very, very true. When everyone's talking about Bitcoin and the next bull market comes and everything's at all-time highs and you think it's going to get even higher, don't hold on too long. Go ahead and take some gains because you don't know what's going to happen. And I'd much rather get my initial investments out and play with house money.
Oh, for sure, for sure. At the end of the day, that's something that I do believe a lot of people, even myself, I'm no saint at all. You know, the emotions definitely play in stocks or crypto in general. So it's definitely something that people do have to learn to keep as more composure as possible to when you see the lows of lows, or if you see the highs of the highs, to be like, okay, I'm going to take some of the money and not, hold on too long and see the sink ship until the next 4 years come back again. It's like, damn it, I should have sold.
Do your own research. Pay attention. You have to stay on top of it because one day you'll have invested in a project and you maybe didn't check it for a week and then you look at it and it's gone. Or they bridge to some other chain or something. You have to stay on top of it because it is so volatile.
I think emotional management is the biggest factor because I trade stocks and crypto, and I feel like in both, that's the number one thing is like learning how to control your emotions and stick to your plan. So if you came up with a plan, you can vary from it a little bit as factors change. But if you're varying too much, then you were just wrong initially when you jumped in. So you need to figure something out and stick to whatever your backup plan was or your exit plan. So yeah.
Well, that's why those memes exist, or the guys like breathing into paper bags as the charts are just dropping and dropping. And you're like, I'm hodl. And then it shoots back up and you're like, yeah, I'm on a car. You're like, it's just so many emotions in that. Oh my God.
Don't stare at it
flashbacks.
like every second. I mean, you could, but I just try not to like feel like when you first buy things, you're like staring at it every second.
Refresh,
like, what is it going to do? What is it going to do?
Refresh.
Doesn't happen that fast. Like, just chill.
It can't. I mean, not stocks, but yeah, DEX and swaps. Yeah, it happens that fast.
It's a little. I think it depends on how you're buying. But yes, just breathe through it. Learn some
for
meditation.
Sure. With the bigger names as like Bitcoin and ETH, for example, or some, the big names that most people do know, I don't tend to look as much the charts. I just say, okay, I'm going to buy now. And in 12 months, I hope, knowing that there should be a bull market, I'll see how it's going then.
And
but of course, with the
staking helps with that emotion.
Sure, yeah.
Because you're like, oh, it's staked, so whether or not, whatever, and the swings aren't as big.
You can't just move it fast.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, plus you're getting compounding interest, and it's just much less volatile
for some of the
loss. I mean, I've seen Bitcoin almost 60,000 down to 3,000. Like that was. I mean,
that was right.
That was rough.
I can imagine. Yeah. So the smaller coins, I do tend to check a bit more. But I do feel that, at least in this world, I don't know if you could agree with me here or not, but I do feel like days that feel like weeks and weeks that feel like months.
Yeah.
I feel like it's extremely
fast. An hour
fast.
can feel like a month.
Yeah, literally.
Another, we were on a call, we were part of Binance Labs, and we were on a call with a bunch of big brains over at Binance, and they were telling us that on the DEX, in swaps, in decentralized exchanges, there are only 64,000 unique users, meaning there are really only at any one time only 64,000 real people trading in those platforms. The rest are bots. The rest is a user being another user, but 64,000 people. That's what is actually moving those markets. So once, let's say, what can you imagine if that 64,000 people who got SHIB to where it is and Dogecoin to where it is, Pepe, whatever coin you got into that was a meme coin like that, if it got to 1 million unique users, what that would do for the market. So I think that's going to be the difference in this next bull market is more unique users, because there's more information, more education, more people know about it. And with platforms like ours and platforms like yours, where we're here to just NFA, but this is what we're doing. And this is what we've researched. This is how you can do it if you choose to. If you get those 64,000 unique users up to 1 million, imagine what your meme coins are going to go to.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And one thing I can definitely say is I'll have a lot more white hair than I do have now. That's for sure. Because it goes up and down, side, left, right. It definitely takes. But yeah, I guess that's part of the game. The ups and downs. And like you said, if there's only 64,000, imagine 1 million. Whew, that's a lot of people.
We were shocked. We were like, "Excuse us, what?" And they're like, "No, we've done the research. There's really only 64,000 unique users on the DEX or in these swaps. That's the community. That's crazy."
Wow. Yeah. I thought it was a lot more, to be honest. I didn't know it was. It's not a small
lot
amount,
of it
of course,
is bots.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, the different systems that you can use to trade for you. Yeah, it's not very much.
Oh, wow. Do they know, is that throughout the year, or is that like doing a bull market, or is that just in general?
In
like
general, at any one time, there are only, they from their research, 64,000 unique users.
Wow, that's not a lot.
No,
it
that's
is
not
a
lot
lot,
at all.
Yeah, true. I completely agree. Wow.
So like there's a lot of whales that are controlling. So what does it mean is if there's only 64,000, there's a lot of bots and there's a lot of whales that are controlling the markets, which we know. And the coin developers and people who are moving big amounts of coins or dumping big amounts of coins.
Oh, for sure. And I think that a lot of people, especially if there's a bull market come in, they do have to do a lot of do your own research and take their time. Yes, there's going to be a bull run, but until that bull run actually starts, for the people that are coming now, they do have time. They can read, and it's better to take their time than to make mistakes that they might regret in a further future, for example.
And have everything set up now. Like if your goal is to invest in crypto, don't wait till everyone's talking about it and you have FOMO and you're like, oh, I got to get this coin because my cousin told me. What do I do? Like, go to an exchange, research how to set up an account, do some research on what does it mean to have an account, what is a digital wallet, how do I put money into there, how do I then get ready for to purchase something. Like, take your time, set up an authenticator, look into cold storage, make goals and make out clear financial boundaries for yourself. I have $100 and that's all I'm going to invest in crypto. Okay, cool. Well, where are you going to invest that and how much and how are you going to do that? And that's probably the safest way to get started, I think. And stay off the DEX if you're a noob. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like the DEX involves a lot of human error, and that's where people lose their money.
Stay out of there for now until you really understand what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like a baby. You don't ask a baby to run a marathon when it's 2 months old. You ask it to be alive, breathe, and after maybe, try to start walking, and after try to start running. Well, the same here. You don't start with the absolute meme cap that's got 1K market cap. You
No.
read Bitcoin white paper, first of all. And after, you go to Ethereum, see what Ethereum is doing. What does Ethereum is available? What can they do? What can you do with Ethereum? And after you go to Binance, and after you be, okay, well, Binance has got 100, 200, I don't know how many coins it's got, but it's got some. Let's have a look at those. Those are the big boys, the big players. The price will go up and down, of course, but it's not going to be the same huge up and downs that 100K market cap coin is going to do, that's for sure. So slowly and steady, of course. And after, once you get the experience, you make mistakes like we all do. You fumble a bag, or unfortunately, I hope not, but there's a rug pull here and there, and you'll be like, okay, well, now I have to learn more about this, or I have to make sure, who's the team, what do they do, where they're from, if they have an audit, what are the utilities, have they done previous tokens, for example, or, who told you this, why did they tell you this? So it's always research, and only putting in what you can afford, once again, to lose at the end of the day. Hopefully not, but if worse comes to worse, you have to take the accountability to say, well, I put in $100, I lost it, boo-hoo for me, but that's the risk I wanted to play and I wanted to take.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you are ready for the DEX, maybe like if you've never done it before, maybe just try like $1. See if that dollar ends up where you think it was going to first.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Even, I don't know if you do the same, but when I do move some numbers around, I always send like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Even if I've done it 1,000 times.
Yes.
I still get scared making transactions.
I double check the address like 8 times.
And as you know, I'm like, hey, let me know if it gets there, because
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's like a Hail Mary every time I do a transaction.
I double check every single digit.
Is there a memo tag? Am I sending it to the right chain? Is it the right wallet? Did I copy paste correctly? Double check I copy pasted the right address and it's not from something else. And then you're like, it's still nerve wracking.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and even if
usability needs to happen.
Yeah, and even I'm like cold storage. I'm like, oh, is it gonna work? Is my nano ledger gonna reboot? Like, I'm scared.
I know. I keep waiting for like all this cross blockchain compatibility, because I'm like, can it please just get to a point where you're just sending from a wallet to a wallet and I don't know what's happening in the background, but it just happens.
Yeah, it just works like my credit card.
I don't want to do this manually anymore.
and that it'll eventually get there. Like I don't know how PayPal works. I don't know the tech behind my Venmo. I know it's a ledger of ones and zeros that is owned by a centralized entity, but I don't know how my computer works. I can use it, and it's the same will happen for crypto. People are not going to be so in depth in knowledge as we are, like where
Eventually.
You're studying code and blockchain technology, and you're looking at the Etherscan, and you're looking at a hash rate, and you're looking at mining. They're not even going to care about all those things, because no one cared about how money was minted. They just use it. It just needs to be safe and user friendly. Then they'll use it. They don't necessarily need to know A to Z how it works. They just need to trust it. It needs to be user friendly, easier, and everyone else needs to be using it. I didn't start using Venmo until everyone else was like, do you have a Venmo? Well, what's a Venmo?
I know, I didn't trust it at first.
I didn't trust it at first.
Sure?
Yeah. And now I'm like,
I don't want to link it to my bank account.
You can't not use Venmo or Apple Cash or PayPal or Zelle, whatever it is that's the same thing. All that is digital currency. It's the same as crypto, except it's not on blockchain.
Yeah.
Except it is hackable. Except there is identity theft. There is fraud.
Yep.
In crypto, again, your keys, your wallet. If you mess up, you lose it.
And your keys become exposed in some way, shape, or form.
If you don't store it correctly, you lose it. But no one can go in and take it from you. It's virtually hack proof unless someone has the keys to your kingdom.
We need mass education and usability.
It
And
needs
then
to be
regulation
easier.
has-
It needs to
has
be
to keep
easier because
happening.
it's still complicated.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I say it'll when mass adoption will be like not complete, but if my grandfather can completely understand it and he's struggling with his phone as of right now, if he can understand it or it gets to a point that he can understand it, well, it'll be usable for everyone within the world, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My kids understand crypto and Bitcoin and blockchain like it's normal because they're hearing about it, they're growing up with it. They have crypto and I've taught them things. But it was kind of the same as when my generation, I didn't grow up with tech. I was born in 1983. So I had it later on in life. I caught up to it, but I'm still not as savvy as everyone else who's younger than me. And I think that's how our older generations are now. They're never really going to get it with crypto because they just missed that boat and it's just not in their wheelhouse of operational skills. Like they were the fax machine. They were writing letters and posting letters. Do you know what I mean? They had dial-up, which was complicated. Their credit cards were like carbon copied and not even digital. They had checkbooks that they balanced. So there's a learning curve for every generation. Plus, every generation doesn't always adopt the new operation systems, so to speak. And that's just how it is.
Oh, of course. My mum knows that I work in crypto, but she hasn't got a clue what Bitcoin is. She doesn't know how to use it, for example. And she's my mum. I'm not even talking about my grandfather, for example. But yeah, time will come that hopefully people like my mum get to understand or be like, okay, at least I know what's happening in a way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And even I'm 26 and I feel old with some of these youngsters. I speak to like 17, 18, 16 years. I'm like, damn, wow, already. So yeah, for the youth and the next generations to come, they will be the ones that are going to exceed without a doubt in these kind of environments. So yeah.
I definitely feel that that's true because I missed the Twitter train and now it's X, but I just feel like I look at it and I kind of get it, but I'm like, I don't know. I
had
know.
MySpace.
I didn't use it enough. I missed it. I had a MySpace too. That top 5 or top 10, whatever it was so like it caused so much drama for so many people.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that MySpace is gone. I think that.
Yeah. And we had BBMs and not text messages. And I had a pager. So you're talking to a dinosaur.
See, I remember elementary school, we had to wear they put a blanket over your hands and you had speed typing classes where you had to come under a certain amount of time without seeing the keys. And it was the whole thing. You had to use the right fingers for the right key. Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, before.
Or even
go ahead.
Go on. I was going to say, even for the youngsters, like the future generations, like you're saying, the typical Nokia phone, that is the first phone I had. They'll be like, well, what's a phone with a keyboard? Or, I remember my mum used to buy via USB to get internet within the house.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's got 4G and 5G now. So it's like, it will come to a moment of time where crypto is just the absolute norm. And I'll be like, well, what did you do before crypto? Kind of thing, if that makes sense.
You had to carry dirty money that everyone else touched in the world.
You had a physical credit card,
and you could give that paper to them. Where did it go after that? For sure.
I think it'll come to that, sooner or later, of course.
Well, before we wrap up, can you let us know what socials our viewers can check out your information on and check out your posts?
I'm mainly on X.
At DJ Crypto?
I think it's at YourCryptoDJ.
Oh, at YourCryptoDJ.
Yeah. YourCryptoDJ on Telegram as well. On SoundCloud, I'll be uploading some DJ sets soon. My YouTube as well, which I'll be posting tutorials or whatnot. I haven't started that just yet. I'm not the best on camera, shall I say, and I don't know how to explain everything properly. So I'm, bit by bit, shall we say. But yeah, your crypto DJ, anywhere and everywhere, it should be me. And yeah, that's about it, really. At least for me.
Did we have any questions from anyone that we wanted to answer?
No, I didn't see any questions come up on the chat. I guess if anyone did have questions, now would be a good second. You probably have a few seconds before we log off. I know I want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Yeah. And I thank you so much for joining us. It was, it's always, I love talking to younger people about cryptocurrency, especially people just like yourself. Like, what was their journey? How did they get into it? It's just so fascinating to me, because I just want to see how the other side is adopting it, and what their thoughts are, good and bad, about it. So I want to just thank you so much for sharing, being open with your crypto journey, because it is very personal, and for most people it's very private.
Oh, for sure. It's been a complete pleasure, to be honest. And yeah, journeys. I mean, as they always say, it's just begun, shall we say? But yeah, it was a cool one. It was thanks to some friends that are like learned about crypto before me, and they was like, oh, okay, this digital coin, and they were like, oh, but what is Bitcoin and stuff like that. And yeah, it just got on. Since I work in social media, some people that actually offer. And I mean, in like COVID times, to pay, for example, for like a promotional post. So I work with influencers. So they're like, there's big companies that are like, okay, we want you, if it's possible for you to promote, I don't know, as an example, Coca-Cola or Dr. Drew or whatever it is. And they're like, okay, do you accept other kind of payments? They're like, what kind of payments? Crypto. Oh, what's crypto? And, and the ball just started running, and yeah, now I'm a complete DJ, fortunately, or unfortunately.
It's like we knew Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Edison, and they gifted us some light bulbs, and we got to put them in our house first. And all of a sudden, we're the only houses on the block with electricity and light at the flick of a button, or you know what I mean? And everyone's like,
yeah.
what, how did your house get lit up? What is this new tech? What? How great is this? Look at how wonderful it works. And we're just here going, well, this is where I got the light bulbs, and this is how it works. And if you'd like it, here's where you can go get it. And we think it's great. But we're really at still the wild, wild west. We're at the frontier. It's being revolutionized as we speak.
Yeah, and I feel like there's so many
people
that get really against it, and I'm like, hey, we're just here for anyone who's interested, because there's nobody to talk to.
Nobody. I couldn't find a channel like this,
or do it, or get into it, or look at any of this. It's okay.
6 years ago, 7 years ago, there was like maybe 3 people.
Like, I want like a hotline. I want people to call.
There needs to be a crypto crisis hotline for
Get
sure.
me some developers now.
For the next bull market, there should be one.
For sure.
That's a service we should provide. Phone a friend.
I don't know if you agree.
just got rug pulled.
I don't know if you agree, but it's actually relieving in a way that it's like sometimes it's less and less, fortunately, but before it was like, okay, I got absolutely no one to talk to about some stuff I do throughout the day, or to explain, damn, like when I sent Ethereum on the Binance chain, I was like, damn it, I just lost money. I was like, I can't explain that to anyone. No one understands it. So it's actually relieving to actually speak to people, be like, oh, yeah, they understand what I've been through, or they understand, what I tried to say or mean. So it's actually relieving, to be honest, and cool. I really enjoy this. Thank you for having me, to be honest.
Oh, thank you. And we're, now that we've met and we've had this discussion, feel free to reach out to us at any time. You can personally DM us or email, and we're here to help if you should have any questions or any information you'd like that we can share with you. We're happy to help. That's what we're here for.
Oh, for sure. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but, when there's a lifeline of help, I've just been rug pulled.
Or if you have any new Pepe coins that you know of, just tell me about it.
For sure, yeah.
I would love that. Just a little, throw it out there.
I'm down to join some Telegram groups and just go crazy in the chat.
It's what they say as well. It's not what you know, sometimes it's who you know as well, which is obviously an important factor as well.
And I love a good Telegram chat that's just going ballistic.
Same, yeah. 100 messages a minute. It's like, damn, you can't even write anything because it just disappears. in
Yeah, just
the huge
reposting the
sea
same
of
shit
messages.
over and over again.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, and good luck to you and all your trading, and may the charts be in your favor.
Woo.
Same, and hopefully the same for you ladies as well for the next full one. And all the best for Crypto Cafe as well.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you got something out of this and enjoyed hearing the conversation.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know why I always dance.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.